esoteric, spiritual intuition, knowingness. I'll use the word intuition here. Intuition, awareness. Now, this is something that actually is constantly connecting and communicating within you. You're all very intuitive beings. However, you let the mind overcome it and you let your doubts then push it off somewhere else. But the intuition right now is actually bringing in feelings of things that are going to show up in the newspaper on Wednesday. And you say, "It's something wrong with my stomach. It must just be because I'm having problems at work." No, you're intuitive beings. You're picking up on things that are moving and shifting in the earth. Lovely smell. You're picking up on anxieties from people in the cities where you live in. You're picking up on the spooks that have been walking through the room here, always fascinated by you, that are earthbound. But your mental processes convert it, put it off in some different area, cause you to doubt yourself. So you're really not allowing yourself to perceive on an intuitive awareness basis. It's already there. We don't need to take class in intuition, in knowingness. You know why I don't want to do classes on that? Because then you go mental about it. It's already there. It is you. It's already at work. It's really about trusting that it's there. Trusting that it's not your garbage anyway, and trusting that when it comes in, particularly the mind tries to take it over. These are different types of awarenesses that you work with right now. These are the most obvious, because they're right in your face. If I kick you in the foot, you're going to be aware of it. These are the most prolific. They're always happening. They're driving you crazy. These are the most natural, the most fun, and the easiest, but the ones that you tend to push out of your way. When I asked the question before, where is your consciousness? It's a really good question. That's a really good question. Some of you say here, well, but are you really being conscious here? I would contend that a lot of your consciousness is out there somewhere, is out in another realm. You've held it out there. You've kept it from being in here. You're avoiding it in a lot of ways. You've hidden it somewhere, and you really don't know where it is. And when I say, ask the question, what is consciousness? You give me a mental answer. And you say awareness, okay, but really, what does that mean? What is consciousness? What is consciousness? And I debated with myself, which is rather enjoyable, about should we define this or not, or should we leave it open-ended? Decided we'd define it to a degree. The consciousness is awareness, but put more concisely, distilled down, consciousness is your presence, and not like a gift, but I mean, well, it is a gift, but your presence. That's a little bit different than being in the now moment, very similar, they're like cousins, but it is your presence. Your consciousness is your presence, and what you are allowing yourself to be aware of. Your consciousness is your presence, and your presence right now is right here, is sitting right here. Your consciousness is your awareness of sensory, of mental, and intuitive. Your consciousness is presence. And the question that I have for each and every one of you, how present are you? How present are you? How real are you in the moment? How conscious are you? You're much more conscious than most other humans. That is indeed a fact. But there's still that struggling back and forth still wondering, well, what does all this mean? And what is spirit? And what is consciousness? I'm going to ask you right now, without music, without words, without anything, and without this fan, for just a moment, dear Linda, to feel your presence, to be aware of your presence. And before you do, get out of your brain. No mind in this. No brain in this. Just take a deep breath. What is your presence right now? Not off somewhere else, but right here. What is your presence? Some of you are getting a bit mental about this. You're trained that way. Humanity is like that right now. Everything is mental. You're trying to think about the answer. It's not going to work. Some of you are saying, I don't have the faintest idea. That's probably the best answer. Because at least you're opening yourself to it. What is your presence? Are you in your body, my dear? No. No, you're not. Are you in your mind? To a degree, yes. Are you fully present, Angel? No. No, and that's okay. At least you're aware of it. You see? And this is the simplicity and the beauty of it. Are you present? What is your presence? As you start to become aware of it through the senses, your physical senses, even through your mind, and the mind starts saying, am I present? Then through your intuition, you're finally going to start feeling yourself more present. You're going to start feeling more around you. You're going to have more awareness of yourself present. And the moment you have awareness of what is present, what is here, you're going to start understanding what is not present. You're going to understand what you've been holding back on. Then, my dear, you get that state of pure consciousness. It goes beyond any of these types of awareness. It becomes the I am awareness. I am awareness. And the fact that I am present, and that's all that counts. I am that I am. Every part, every piece, the body of consciousness, every aspect, every thought, every feeling, I am fully aware. I am that I am. Now, my dear friends, you're in this cycle right now. You're in this evolution. You're in this next stage. Whether I was here talking about it, it's going to happen anyway. But by discussing it, you get to be in the consciousness of this. You get the awareness. It satisfies a degree of your mind. Another part of your mind is even more confused than before. But at least you understand now, this is what's happening to me. You're becoming more present, more conscious, more aware. That is an important fact. Why? And then we're going to have Zachariah come up. Because I said before, everything is energy on Earth right now. Everything is about the conflict of energy, and that includes light versus dark, negative versus positive, energy battles. You could say it is kind of like the last great battle. Where the battle of energy is really taking place for most of humanity is in the mind. The mind, not necessarily being fought on big battlefields. It's in the mind. Humanity is going through a tremendous evolution. of going out of the mental era that it's been in for a long time. It's arguable, but you could say anywhere from about 800 years to 2,000 years in a very mental era. It's going beyond that. And as you know from your own personal experience, that's a tough one. How do you get out of your own mind? How do you go beyond the mind, the very thing that's controlling and managing and consuming energy? The very unit that is demanding and consuming huge volumes of energy, the mind, not the body, the mind. Mass consciousness is going through that right now. It's not going to settle down right away. But sooner or later, mass consciousness will evolve beyond the mind. You're doing it right now. You've been doing it for a while. As you go into beyond the mind, what is beyond the mind? What is beyond the mind? Yell it out. Integrated body of consciousness, that's good. And awareness and consciousness are all beyond the mind. Intuition, you don't have to think about things anymore, you just know them. Where you don't have to try anymore. And with that, I'll give you your homework assignment if you want to do homework. If you don't want to do homework, that's fine. This is a good homework. Yes. Pick one day between now and our next, now in the conference for the midsummer in Santa Fe. Pick one day, any day that suits you or pleases you. On that day, don't try. That's easy homework, yeah. On that day, don't try. Now, what I mean by that is stop trying to figure things out. Stop trying to organize things and plan things. Stop trying. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't get out of bed unless you don't want to. But stop pushing against it. Stop this mental activity. When the nagging doubt comes in, when the brain energy consumption comes in, don't play the game. Just take a deep breath, it doesn't matter, and move on. Notice the difference in your own energy level, but more importantly, notice the difference in the result that takes place when you stop trying. When you stop trying to figure it out, stop trying to make it happen, stop worrying about it, stop pushing on it. You'll know you're trying if you get this tension up here. So you take a deep breath and stop trying. Well, it requires tremendous trust, but that's a good thing. That's a fun thing. One day, if you would be so kind to yourself as to write down the next day what you were aware of, what you perceived, what your enlightenment was, if any, about that, about a day of not trying. We'll work with that once we get back together in October, I believe. So with that, let's take a deep breath. You are consciousness. You're not energy. Energy naturally falls into place and goes to work for you, totally efficient, as you become aware, as you become conscious of your presence. Consciousness is awareness of all the different things that are going on. Consciousness ultimately is about your presence right here, right now. Your presence in this moment.